Hello my friends, I'm Kuma. Recently my friend from US told me there's a good video about Japanese history, so I thought it would be great to watch it together today. Since I'm a university student, I'm pretty sure that I already know the Japanese history very well, of course. So let's take a look.
Japan is an island by the sea filled with volcanoes and it's beautiful. In the year -1 billion, Japan might not have been here. In the year -40,000, it was here, and you could walk to it, and some people walked to it. Then it got warmer, some icebergs melted, it became an island, and now there's lots of trees, because it's warmer. So now there's people on the island, they're basically sort of hanging out in...
So, I didn't know that. I mean, my Japanese history started from like 2,000 years ago, so I didn't even think of this origin. It just makes sense though. Anyway.
Between the mountains, eating nuts off trees and using the latest technology, like stones and bowls.
Bowls,
Ding dong,
right?
is the outside world.
I know. I mean, I still remember vividly that I have to memorize the features of the bowls for the exam. Yes, my Japanese history started from around here. Okay.
And they have technology from the future, like really good metal and crazy rice farms. Now you can make a lot of rice really, really quickly. That means if you own the farm, you own a lot of food, which is something everybody needs to survive. So that makes you king. Rice farming and rice kingdoms spread across the land, all the way to here. The most important kingdoms were here, here.
So,
here.
it's related to the history, but I was born and raised in here, the north part of Japan.
One was the most important, ruled by a heavenly superperson, or emperor for short. Knock knock, get the door, it's religion. The new prince wants everyone to try this hot new religion from Biekt. Please try this religion, he said. No, said everybody. Try it, he said. No, said everybody again, quieter this time.
Buddhism,
So the religion
right?
was put into place, and all the rules that came with it.
You know, I am atheist. Almost all of my Japanese friends are atheists too. But still, I go to temple occasionally, like on a New Year's Day or...
Then the government was taken over by another clique, and they made some reforms, like making the government govern more, and making the government more like China's government, which is a government that governs more. Hi, China, they said. Hi, dipshit, said China. Can you call us something else other than dipshit?
Dipshit. Dipshit. Sorry, I didn't know the meaning of this word. Dipshit. Let me Google it. Okay. I mean, I didn't know the meaning of the word. I think most of Japanese people also don't know the meaning of this Chinese character, I think. I learned a lot from this video.
Shit, said Japan. Like what? Said China. How about Sunrise Land? Said Japan. And they stole China's alphabet and wrote a book about themselves. And then they made lots of poetry and art and another book about themselves. Then they stopped moving the capital every time the emperor died and kept it in one place for a while, right here. And they conquered the north finally. Get that squared away. A rich hipster named Kukai is bored with modern Buddhism, visits China, and learns a better version, which is more spiritual. Comes back, reinvents the alphabet, and causes art and literature to be great for a long time. And the royal palace turned into such a dream world of art that they really didn't give a shit about running the country. So if you live outside the palace, how are you supposed to protect your shit from criminals? Hire a samurai. Everyone started hiring samurai. Rich, important people hired samurai. Poor people who could not afford to hire samurai did not hire samurai.
Very interesting. But you know, like in school, we learned a lot about the history around this era. But sadly, teachers are unlikely to cover the history of like modern history as they run out of the time of class. And also students like me study textbook from page 1 and ended up at around like 100 pages out of like 300. And so we cannot reach to learn modern history well. So let's not make that happen this time. So let's skip the video and modern history. So then let's start the World War.
It's time for World War One. The world is about to have a war because it's the 1900s and weapons are getting crazy, and all these empires are excited to try them out on each other. Meanwhile, Japan has been enjoying conquering stuff and wants more. And the next thing on their list is this part of China and lots of tiny islands. All that stuff belongs to Germany, which just had war declared on it by Britain because Britain was friends with Belgium, which was being trespassed by Germany in order to get to France to kick France's ass because France is friends with Russia, who was getting ready to kick Austria's ass because Austria was getting ready to kick Serbia's ass because someone from Serbia shot the leader of Austria's ass. Or actually shot him in the head. And Britain is currently friends with Japan, so you know what that means. Duh, Japan should take the island.
You know, it's kind of funny, but I recently discovered that this design was the previous Japanese national flag. I've seen this design in some places, but I thought it was like a anime related design. I'm not sure why, but I don't think I learned this design in like class.
Which they wanted to do anyway, so they called Britain on the telly to sort of let them know. And then they did it. And they also helped Britain a little here and there with some errands and stuff. Now the war is over, and congratulations, Japan, you technically fought in the war, which means you get to sit at the negotiating table with the big dudes, where they decided who owns what. And yes, Japan gets to keep all that shit they stole from Germany. You also get to join the post-war mega alliance, the League of Nations, whose mission statement is to try not to take over the world. The Great Depression is bad, and Japan's economy is now crappy, but the military is doing just fine, and it invades Manchuria. And the League of Nations is like, no, don't do that. If you're in the League of Nations, you're not supposed to take over the world. And Japan said, how about I do anyway? And Japan invaded more and more and more and more of China, and was planning to invade the entire East.
You've got mail.
It's from Germany, the new leader of Germany. He has a cool mustache, and he's trying to take over the world and needs friends. This also got forwarded to Italy. They all decided to be friends because they had so much in common. It's time for World War II. Germany is invading the neighbors. Then they invade the neighbors' neighbors. Then the neighbors' neighbors' neighbors, who happened to be Britain, said, holy shit. And the United States started helping Britain because they are good friends, and started not helping Japan because they're friends and our friends are not friends. Plus they're planning on invading the entire ocean. The United States is also working on a large, very huge bomb, bigger than any other bomb, ever, just in case. But they still haven't joined the war. War looks bad on TV, and the United States is really starting to care about their image. But then Japan spits on them in Hawaii and challenges them to war. And they say yes. And then Germany, as a symbol of friendship, declares war on the United States also. So the United States goes to war in Europe, and they help the gang chase Germany back into Germany. And they also start chasing Japan back into Japan. And they haven't used the bomb yet, and are curious to see if it works. So they drop it on Japan. They actually dropped 2.
So I, of course, know this happened. And I once went to Nagasaki for a school trip when I was in high school. And I really learned a lot about how awful the atomic bomb was. And I think we, in like a Japanese history class, we emphasized how bad the atomic bomb was.
The United States installed a new government, inspired by the United States government, with just the right ingredients for a post-war economic miracle. And Japan starts making TVs, VCRs, automobiles, and camcorders as fast as they can, and also better than everybody else. They get rich, and the economy goes wild, and then the miracle wears off. But everything's still pretty cool, I guess. Bye.
Okay, I wanted to learn recent Japanese history more. But it was very great video. I learned a lot actually, and as I said, I really wanted to learn more about the era of post World War II. How can I know it? Am I the one who introduced it to you?